Hello, so today we're going to be focusing on trophic levels of an ecosystem. So trophic levels are basically where an organism will fit into an ecosystem. So what we must first know is that the sun is a source of energy that will pass through a food chain using trophic levels. So the energy from the sun has got to go from level 1 all the way up to level 5. So start off with, we have a plant. So I'm using broccoli today. So this plant took the energy from the sun, took it through photosynthesis, and will then make its own food through photosynthesis. So this is a producer and is level 1 of our trophic levels. So then next we have a herbivore as a primary consumer, which will come along and will feed off of our plant. So our primary consumer eats our producer. So here we have a little rabbit skull. So our rabbit comes along and he'll quite happily eat our broccoli. So he uses those nice long incisors at the front to snip at plants, and then he uses his back molars to grind the plant into a mush that he can then swallow. So our little rabbit is all content eating his broccoli, but then our next stage is either a carnivore or an omnivore comes along that will eat the herbivore. So we have a secondary consumer come along. So this is a mink skull. He's got lovely nice canines that are used for tearing flesh. So he comes along, sees a rabbit all nice and fat and happy with the broccoli, and he goes, yeah, I'll eat that. So he comes along and he will eat our primary consumer, our rabbit. So he is a secondary consumer. So our mink now has the energy from the sun that went into the plant, went into the primary consumer, and is now sitting in our secondary consumer. So our mink is all curled up somewhere in a bush, looking really happy with himself that he's had a nice big meal. And then along comes our tertiary consumer. So here we have a fox. So these are usually carnivores or omnivores, and they will predate on other carnivores or omnivores as well. So anything smaller than them, really. So he comes along, he sees our mink all curled up in a bush and goes, yeah, I'll eat him. He's got a belly full of rabbit, that's nice. So he comes along and he eats our mink. So he uses, once again, those nice big canines to tear at the flesh. And so this is our tertiary consumer, and he is classed as an apex predator. So apex predators are carnivores or omnivores that have no other predators. So in the UK, there's not really much that will eat a fox. So he lives a nice happy life, and he gets all the energy that started in the sun that went into our producer, through our primary consumer, through our secondary consumer, and he's now sitting in him, our tertiary consumer. But there's one more step that a lot of people sort of miss out. So when our plant dies and is sort of left in the ground rotting away, or when our rabbit poos, or our mink does a nice big poo, or when our fox poos or dies, we have a cleanup crew that are our decomposers. So our decomposers will basically sit in the ground most of their time, or within the leaf litter, and they will eat and basically clean up after our other parts of our trophic levels. So here we have a lovely millipede. So this is actually called a matte black millipede, and he will happily eat all the waste that is from the other animals or from the producers. So These guys are actually top of the trophic levels, but people seem to miss them off a lot. But actually they're super cool, super interesting animals that do a lot of good for our environment and our ecosystems. So, just a really short recap. So we have level 1, which are our producers, which was our broccoli. Level 2 is a herbivore. Level 3 are our carnivores or omnivores that eat the herbivores, and our secondary consumers. Level 4 are carnivores that will eat other carnivores, and our tertiary consumers. Level 5 are our decomposers that clean up after everyone else. Right, thank you.